You're watching Knicks Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Marshall Green. Appreciate everybody for taking time out of their busy schedule to rock and roll with us as we get you caught up with everything surrounding this basketball team. The New York Knicks lost last night to the Atlanta Hawks 116-100. They were without Jalen Brunson. They were without Julius Randle, OG Anunoby, and Mitchell Robinson, but they were favored to win the game in Las Vegas. And the Atlanta Hawks, they were also without their star player in Trae Young. The Knicks have now lost 9 out of their last 14 games, and they are sliding in the Eastern Conference standings. I wanted to film this video this morning to try to show everybody where the Knicks stack up in the Eastern Conference, as well as the games they have left in the schedule, and will they have enough time when OG, Brunson, and Randle and Robinson inevitably return to potentially, see if they have enough games left in the schedule to get that done. So you saw the standings in the East right now. The New York Knicks are in that 5th seed at 36-26. They are just one win up on the Miami Heat, really just a half game above the Miami Heat in the 6th seed. But you also have just one more win than the 7th seed Philadelphia 76ers, the 8th seed the Indiana Pacers, meaning there is no more time left for the New York Knicks to lose games. They need to start stacking W's. They need to get healthy. And maybe they can't stack W's until they get healthy, and I just need to take my own medicine with that. But I have high expectations for this team. And right now, they are flirting with being a play-in team as April basketball comes around. And it's not going to get any easier for the New York Knicks as you take a look at their schedule and what they have left. It's one of the most difficult schedules left in the NBA. You got Orlando this Friday. You've struggled against them. You got Philly back-to-back. They're starting to play a little bit better basketball without Embiid. And they're trying to win games just like the Knicks. Portland, that'll be easy, you hope. Then you got Sacramento. That's tough. Golden State, that's tough. Denver, that's tough. Then you get an easy stretch of Brooklyn, Detroit, Toronto, San Antonio. But then it's right back to it with Oklahoma City, Miami, Sacramento. Then an easy game versus Chicago. It's going to be a tough one versus Milwaukee. Hopefully an easy game versus Chicago, but they're battling for a play-in spot. Then you got Boston. Then you end the season with Brooklyn and Chicago. So you still play a lot of really good teams left this season. You have 20 games left this season. Will they have enough time when Brunson, Randle, OG, and Robinson get back to potentially get into a playoff groove and start to peak at the right time of the year? It's going to be tough for the New York Knicks to do that. Who's to say OG comes back 100% healthy, or Mitchell Robinson, or Randle, or Brunson, and we just expect them to get right back to the basketball they were playing in January? I'm a little bit worried. I understand that these losses don't mean much, and there's not a lot to take from it considering you're without 4 of your top 5 players. But at the end of the day, it kind of feels like the writing's on the wall, and it seems like it's going to be now or never for the New York Knicks. Maybe you just have to take your medicine. Maybe I just need to realize and understand, Marshall, the New York Knicks are not going to win games until they are fully healthy. Maybe I just need to take and swallow that tough pill. I don't want to do that because I believe there's enough talent on this team to win games, especially against inferior opponents. Josh Hart's making $100 million. Donte DiVincenzo makes $50 million. Bojan Bogdanovic on the books for $18 million this year. Hartenstein's been a shell of himself, I get that, but he's been your starter for most of the year. I just hope they start playing better basketball. And I also need Tom Thibodeau to start coaching better and putting his team in a better spot to win. What's your confidence level in the New York Knicks? I want to hear it from everybody in the chat right now. If you asked me at the end of January, I would have said 10, and I had them going to the Eastern Conference Finals. And I'm not sure why that should change, considering the starters and the top players aren't playing. But when you lose 9 out of 15 games, it's tough. Let me know. Scale 1 to 10 for me down in the comment section. All righty, let's talk about Alec Burks. Is it time to take Alec Burks out of the rotation for the New York Knicks? I think the answer is getting closer and closer to yes. Not only has he been one of the worst basketball players in the NBA since he joined the New York Knicks, he was also terrible last night against the Atlanta Hawks. And these are the type of games why you traded for Alec Burks. When Brunson is out of the lineup, or when Brunson is struggling, or when Brunson is not on the floor, Alec Burks is supposed to be able to contribute some offensive production. But he's been inefficient since he's joined the team. He's shooting just 32% on the season and under 30% from downtown. Alec Burks, my man, this ain't Detroit, brother. You got to start making some big-time shots. You got to be better. This team needs more out of you. You owe the city of New York more production than you have been putting out on the hardwood in the 10 games that you've been a part of this basketball team. I understand Alec Burks was not brought here to carry the second unit. He wasn't brought here to be the sixth man of the year and score 20 points per game. But he was brought here to be able to carry some offensive production while Jalen Brunson is out of the lineup or out of the game. And he has legitimately been awful. He has been terrible. And now I am starting to ask the question of, is it time to bench Alec Burks and play Shake Milton? Shake Milton was signed by the New York Knicks over the weekend. He was available to play in yesterday's loss to the Atlanta Hawks. Tom Thibodeau said he would be situational. He did not play. And I understand it. Quick turnaround for him. But as he gets more involved in this organization and he gets brought up to speed more with this team, game plan, and the style of play that they want to use, I think Shake Milton needs to be playing over Alec Burks. Look at what he's done over the last 4 seasons in his career. I know the stats aren't beautiful this past year, but I just believe sometimes that a player, when a circumstance changes and the scenery changes, they can get back to the production that they previously had. Look, it didn't work out in Minnesota. And then he went and played for Detroit for a week. But what about last year when he played for the Philadelphia 76ers, a team that was at the top of the Eastern Conference, that averaged over 8 points per game, over 3 assists per game, and was really, really efficient from the floor on 48% and almost 38% from downtown? I believe that player is still in Shake Milton. He also has fresh legs. He hasn't been playing 40 minutes every single night like Josh Hart. He's 27 years old. He's 6'5". He's got a 7-foot wingspan. He could also bring you some defensive versatility. And we know that since the Knicks have been without Mitchell Robinson and OG Anunoby for the past 2 months, they have been one of the worst defenses in the NBA. I think Shake Milton can make more of a difference on that side of the ball than a guy like Alec Burks. And I also think he can give you the similar or same production, if not better, on offense. So my question to all the real ones is this: who should be playing more going forward for Tom Thibodeau and the Knicks? Is it Alec Burks? Is it Shake Milton? I want to hear from you down in the comment section. Let me know what you're thinking. We'll react to all the stats from the game last night against the Hawks. But first, I got to give a huge shout out to today's sponsor, Prize Picks, the #1 daily fantasy sports app in North America. Pick more, pick less, play Prize Picks. It's prizepicks.com/CLNS, promo code CLNS. Just because the NFL and college football season is over with, that does not mean your season of playing Prize Picks should stop. If anything, it should start heating up right now as the NBA action is heating up and also March Madness is right around the corner. I'm a huge fan of Prize Picks. One, because it's fun, it's easy, and it's exciting, but I also like to win money. And they have a bunch of different sports that you can play. NBA, NHL, college basketball, soccer, PGA Tour, and so much more. Play Prize Picks at prizepicks.com/CLNS, promo code CLNS. They will match your first deposit up to $100. Check them out. All that information will be clickable down in the comments and description of today's video. Alrighty, let's run through all the stats from last night's game. Achiuwa, I thought, was the Knicks' best player for the first 3 quarters of this game. 15 points, 6 rebounds. It seemed like whenever they needed a bucket, Achiuwa found the rock and he got downhill and he attacked the rim. And then somehow he didn't play in the fourth quarter until there was 2 minutes left and the game was out of reach. I don't understand what Tom Thibodeau is doing. Also, there needs to be a change in the starting lineup. It is what it is. The Knicks continuously have to fight themselves out of holes early on in the games because the offensive combination of Hartenstein and Achiuwa at the 4 and 5 are unable to score points. Josh Hart was great in the second half. And I understand he's tired. Everyone let me know that last night on the live stream. I get it. He's played 40-plus minutes in 7 straight games. That's no easy task. But I need him to be more locked in for more than just 24 minutes of basketball. He was god-awful in that first half. And what do you know? Right when he started to bring it into gear, right when he started to turn it up in the second half, the Knicks tied the game. And they ran out of gas at the end. I don't want to ask more of Josh Hart, but he's making $100 million. One of the highest paid players on the team. I do love the confidence in the way he's shooting the ball from 3. I just need it for all 48 minutes. I want more production for all 48 minutes, Josh. Isaiah Hartenstein, one of my favorite players on this team. You represent what it means to be a New York Knick. You play with grit. You play with grind. You play with hustle. You empty the tank every single time you step on the basketball floor. But you're playing through an injury. And I respect that out of you. I always respect someone that's going to play no matter what. but you're hurting the team because you're doing that. Your injured self is not a good enough player right now to be taking minutes away from Precious Achiuwa and, to be quite honestly, Jericho Sims. My message to you is this. Thank you for being a warrior, but get yourself right, because this team is going to need to have you healthy on the basketball floor if they want to do things in the playoffs they haven't done in 20 years. Donte DiVincenzo, his stats look good, 21.6 assists, 4 rebounds, but I thought it was one of his worst games of his career as a New York Knick. I thought he was sloppy with the ball. I thought he took bad shots. 24 shots for DiVincenzo, 17 of those being threes. I understand shooters shoot, but it's hard to get in a rhythm when all you're doing is jacking up threes from the outside off-balance looks. I just ask you to take better shots. We know how special of a player you are, and you're asked to be playing a role right now that you're not really supposed to be doing. You're supposed to be a third or fourth option. You're right now looked at as the number 1 option on this team, and it's so bad habits aren't developing, and I know he'll turn it around. Too good of a basketball player. Miles McBride, just like Iheart, a warrior, empties the tank every time he touches the floor. And I thought he was good last night. I honestly thought he did a good job on DeJounte Murray until he kind of took over a little bit in that fourth quarter. But 11 points, 9 assists. I thought he set the table for the Knicks pretty well. The efficiency needs to be a little bit better from Deuce. Can't shoot 26% and 30% from downtown. Jericho, man, I'm always going to have some love for Jericho. That plays with some juice. He's got great feet. He's got a soft touch around the rim. We know how special of a leaper he is, and he uses that to his advantage with his strength when it comes to the offensive and the defensive glass. He's a decent rim protector as well. I ain't got any bad words to say about Jericho. I thought he played with a lot of heart last night. Bojan gave you 19 points, but he just got to be better. 33% from the field, 6 of 18, simply not good enough. The New York Knicks traded for you at the NBA trade deadline to be a difference maker. And without Brunson and Randall in the game, you are looked upon and asked to really carry the offense for stretch to stretch. And you're shooting 33% from the field. The Knicks need Bojan Bogdanovic to be much better. He's going up against second units. There were guys like Garrison Matthews, Trent Forrest, and other people I had never heard of playing when Bojan was on the floor. And he went 6 of 18. The Detroit boys, they need to be better. They really, really do. Tom Thibodeau needs to be better. Everybody does. I understand it's hard. I'm asking you to go to a gunfight with no gun. But season's on the line here. They got to turn it up. Make sure you guys are following me over on social media, at Marshall Green on Twitter, as well as at Marshall Green _ on Instagram. Don't forget the underscore at the back. Tweeting about the Knicks every day, posting about the Knicks every day. So give me a follow over there and hit that like button on your way out, and let's go Knicks.